Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a little starter guide for Gold Mythic Lydia. I know a lot of people are starting to get their hands on this character, perhaps already do, or they're starting to level them up. Gold Mythic Lydia, very strong character. If you want to check out my review, breakdown of how all of her skills work, I have already done this in a separate video, but this video is how I would intend to build her when it comes to what skills I would upgrade, combat mods I would equip, and how I would go with her weapon. So first of all, we're going to look at her skills. Now, when she gets upgraded at grade 5, limit break 1, limit break 2, she just gets the skills automatically on her rush and her signature moves, so you don't have to use any military supplies here, but I would say the better, the higher you can get her when it comes to limit break 2 and eventually limit break 3, the better, pretty much. You're going to get better stats, you're going to get a little bit more attack on her rush and her signature moves, so it's actually pretty good. When we look at her passives here, you can see I've maxed every single one out. She is a character that definitely needs all of this stuff. Some of it does damage. You can see that Alpha's Daughter at grade 1 and grade 4 gives her better crit damage. When she hits a crit, she's going to do more damage. And Agility at grade 2 and limit break 1 as well would give her more damage when she hits any of her abilities, her signature move, her rush, and her basic attacks. Everything will work with both of those, so she's going to have really good amplification when it comes to her skills here. Now the rest are really good. 40% chance at normalize at grade 3, that's excellent, and the fact that it's only grade 3 means you can get it just by having a grade 5 character, obviously. When an enemy revives, you get the first half of Contamination 1, you get the second half at Contamination 2 later on, but you have a 20% chance that a single enemy gets 30% infection for 2 turns. I see this one is the only one that you could maybe not have to upgrade. I see this mainly as a bonus. It's not going to work against certain teams, and it's primarily not going to work against the team I'm actually building her against, which is going to be teams that have got Tara leads, because they've got fast hitting weapons, which is going to just absolutely wipe this off. But she's good. That's going to work in things like Challenge Run, where I'm also using this character, and that's going to be quite useful there. If revives do come in, it's going to be a nice little touch on the side. So pretty simple with the skills. Focus on Agility and Alpha's Daughter on the skill upgrades if you do want to amplify her personal damage. Gruesome Display is just good for, obviously, the chance to get normalized. The first one of the more powerful characters in the game that has got a chance to normalize, which is cool. And then Contamination is pretty much your call. Okay, so now we'll move on to the combat mods. And first of all, I would say that the set you should primarily go with is going to be Crit Set. And this is because she can crit everything: rush, signature move, basic attacks. If you are going to utilize her base weapon, there's a guaranteed crit there unless you attack a tank that resists it. So it's much better to go with Crit Set. Now the only attack bonus you're actually going to get is through a stat mod here. So I definitely go on a attack on Crit Set. Generally speaking, that's always the way you should go when it comes to an offensive character that needs to hit better crits. Always go with attack, because they're not going to get attack bonuses from when you hit this set. They're going to get better hits on their actual bonus damage from their crits. In the top right hand corner, we're going to go with attack versus fast or attack versus tough. This is because primarily I'm building Lydia against Tara teams, and that's what you need to identify. What teams are you primarily attacking with Lydia? If you're attacking every team, well, you might want to just try and work out which trait you're running into the most. I don't think you need to go with tough if you're going with every team, but if you're primarily going with teams that are tough and fast, like I am, tough in the top right hand corner or fast in the top right hand corner, both work just as well. Now if you haven't got a huge percentage, 40% I'd say is like the minimum you really want to go with on a platinum mod. You could stick an offset mod here and it'll be absolutely fine. Next up, because I'm going to be attacking those tough characters on tough defense teams with Tara as the leader, I'm going to need an impair resistance, and I don't have one in platinum here, so we're going to just scroll down a little bit to the golds, and I think I've got a decent percentage. I have 67%, and this is because she's got a first turn signature move, and you want to try and resist if you can. If you are, you're going to use the Scotsman, like I am going to in a little test run. You can cleanse her first turn when she gets impaired, if she does get impaired, but the second turn when she gains AP, that's not going to be the case. So you are going to want to have some impair resistance for sure to just minimize the chance of her getting impaired. Her rush is extremely powerful. She can definitely take down a character with it, and because of that she has a 40% chance to normalize, and she has a 100% chance to proc 2 stuns. So really, really powerful indeed. Lots of control. Now in the bottom left hand corner, we're going to amplify that damage even further. As you can see, we're going to just put in another crit damage mod. If you've got one on set, again, try and go on set as much as possible. This is because the set bonus is actually pretty decent. If you get 3 plats and a gold, you can see you're going to get an extra 50% damage from hitting your crits. But I would say this is primarily the way to go. Lydia is the damage dealer, is a damage dealer. She should be one of your 2 damage dealers on an attack team, minimum of 2 damage dealers on an attack team. I would say probably the maximum of 3, honestly, if you want to, take in a balanced team. But Lydia is going to do a lot of damage in this setup. Crit damage on her set bonus, crit damage on the bottom left hand corner, quite a lot of attack stat in the top left hand corner. She's guaranteed crits if you use the base weapon, even if not 1535s, a lot of them around her. She's going to do a lot of damage here. Now the last slot is completely up to you. If you're not going to go with her base 100% crit weapon, you might want to put crit in this slot, just because this can give you quite a lot of crit. You can get like 50 to 60 crit if you've got a really nice crit mod. You might want to go with HP in this slot if you want to just kind of tank some of the bleed damage. Potentially you want to even go with bleed resist as well in here. It depends on how you're going to build your teams. I've got the Scotsman, so I know that I don't need bleed resist on Lydia here because I've got the Scotsman and Lydia. That's going to cleanse 5 people, so it's going to be absolutely fine when it comes to the bleed. Now, the other way you could go is you could go with another attack versus mod. So if you are attacking a very specific setup, like Tara teams, you're going to go with attack versus fast and attack versus tough, because it's primarily going to be tough and fast teams that you're going to be dealing with. So I'm going to be going with attack versus tough. I do not have any in platinum. I had a 39.5% one in gold, which was actually pretty reasonable for gold. And we're going to do amplified damage against tough characters here. She doesn't necessarily need it, but with that first turn signature move, I can basically target any tough character I want and know I'm going to be doing pretty good damage. Now, off the start, this is Lydia's base weapon. There's so many ways you can go with this weapon. It's completely up to you. You can replace things. You can, upgrade things. You can go with 40% attack and a huge bonus and keep it like that, and I think that's absolutely fine. You can go with 35% attack, a huge bonus, and replace the third slot if you don't want her to be, less of a support character and more of a damage dealer. The third slot can do amplified damage in that slot. Or of course you could just completely replace this with a weapon you already have pre-built. Again, completely up to you. This is how I went with the weapon. It is her base weapon. I went with 35% attack, a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and I replaced that third slot because I don't want the 8% AP, and I do want the extra 45% attack bonus from her attacks if characters are, enemies are over 50% HP, and she is going to guarantee herself this happening off the first turn because she's got a first turn signature move, heavy nuke, and that is going to get all the bonuses from this third slot here. Obviously, because of that 4th slot, it is guaranteed to crit as well, and the way I've set up with the combat mods, that crit's going to hit as hard as possible. So the likeliness of a first turn takedown is much higher, and obviously the bonuses on top of that, with a 40% chance to normalize another character. On Tara teams, that's quite important because they do have the possibility of having payback characters. So when it comes to the team we're going to use her in, it will be a team like this. A lot of these characters are quite openly accessible. You've got Negan and Wayland in the museum. Michonne is in the bit store. Lydia, of course, in the current event. You could swap out Michonne for Michonne 2000. And you could even swap in someone like Rick 2000 if you manage to get a command instead of Wayland. Disarm is nice against Tara teams, however, because obviously they have dirty weapons when it comes to elusive impair and impenetrable defense. They have the double bonuses effectively. It can proc one thing, but it can also do something else afterwards. So stopping any of that happening is a very big deal. So when it comes to the kind of teams you can face, like I said, they're going to have a lot of tough characters on them. You primarily want to attack someone who is going to stop damage. Someone like this guy here is going to be quite important, and we're just going to try and get this disarm in, and then we can just follow up the damage afterwards. We should do pretty reasonable damage. Obviously, because he's a tank, he blocked the crit, so he did block what a lot of the stuff we actually have to add. And we're going to just get some AP elsewhere. And I'll do the cleanse just for the sake of it, as we did have someone, I think, dazed. And then we should get some AP. And as long as we've got our focus, we should be able to bypass it now. And she's going to be able to take someone out. This is what she can bring. huge amounts of damage. Obviously, there's a bit of a bug at the moment, but I think someone maybe got normalized. Did someone get normalized? No, but we did get one. Oh yeah, they did. So no more shield, but also the shield is stunned, so it doesn't matter too much. Obviously, the bonus in this particular team is we have got quite a lot of decap because we've got Michonne and Lydia. So the chance of taking out characters and decapping them is pretty high. We didn't hit the decap on our man Barker. Well, no, it's not Barker. Oh my god, it's Cliff. I was like, oh my god, I'm going to get it right this time. I did not. But yeah, we didn't get the decap, but we should be able to finish off this team. It shouldn't be too much of a problem, and that is partly in thanks to Lydia and the spectacular damage she can bring in. So that's Lydia, my kind of ideas when it comes to how to build her. I would definitely say if you can get more 1535s, I had two 1535s around her. Her attack stat doesn't go that high because she doesn't have a 1535 in her hands herself. So it's up to you how you want to go with her weapon. You could just make it so it's 1535, get crit on her combat mods. You'll crit less often, but you'll have better damage even when you don't. It's a balancing move when it comes to 100% crit weapons. But you saw the potential, especially in certain teams, because of the double characters in there that have the possibility to get decaps. It can work very, very nicely indeed. You can obviously team her up with other characters. Alpha, for instance, on challenge runs. I've been using her on challenge run, and she's a lot of fun. And yeah, I would definitely say try and focus those cliffs on a defense team. I cannot believe I called him Barker again. I was actually really happy for myself. For a split second, I was like, yeah, I got it right. No, I got it wrong. Really, really wrong. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Lydia. Like I say, starter guides. Do give me your thoughts in the comments down below. Are you using Lydia? Do you think she's going to be usable against certain teams? I think she's going to be very nice against these Tara defense teams. But that is the end of my video, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.